Alright, we should be live. Gonna do my usual checks and then we'll get going. Probably gonna be like 30 seconds or so. But hello to everyone that is here and thank you for joining me. It's been a few days since I live streamed. I've had maintenance people coming in and out and figured that'd be weird to have in the background, so I thought I'd just wait till it was done. Alright, I have my brightness all tuned in on my screen and it actually looks pretty good on your guys' side. Alright, let's get me some music and we're set. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm working on a moose. I'm actually working on a war moose. So the saddle is really not done or really developed in concept. So I'll be working on mostly that today. This base mesh that I used was this. So I started with, I got this from Rowena. We actually link that in the chat right now because I absolutely adore her. She is a wonderful, wonderful person and artist. So there, linked. She's one of those few artists, like I messaged because I was feeling very brave and she actually responded. And so now we chat every now and then. It's like a dream come true because I love her. Anyway, if you guys are looking for great base meshes, I super recommend her because this was so helpful. Could I make this? Absolutely, but moose look really dumb. Honestly, if you really look at like their head shape and just the way they're proportioned with their little legs and little feet, they're kind of dumb looking, you know? It's really hard to get them looking balanced. Like you think that you know what they look like, but you don't. Anyway, so this is what I made based off of that. As you can tell, I made quite a few changes. I made the legs significantly thicker just because this will be 3D printed and I don't want it to fall apart. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and delete that base mesh. I just want to throw that in there so you guys could see where that came from. But yeah, other than that, this is what I ended up with. I have these weird divisions in the leg right here because when I go to pose it, I'm gonna use these groups. Hey, it's Ricky. Hello. And Sarah. I know you, Ricky. Ricky is on a road trip right now. But like distant. Don't worry guys, he's not socializing. He's going to the middle of nowhere. We take quarantine very seriously. But yeah, so now that I have these different polygroups here, I'm going to be able to pose this really, really easily. So I'll have this really ugly line right there all the way till the end, which drives me nuts, believe me. But it's all worth it for the end. But alright, we got all this looking pretty good and ready to get the saddle looking good. Again, I don't really know what I want to do with the saddle, so I'm not super looking forward to starting that first. So the first thing I will do is move my keyboard over here a little bit. I'm just making some folders, that way the saddle and the moose are separate pieces because I'm probably going to put little like throwing axes right here on the side of the saddle. I mean that is what I'm going to do. There we go. Got this organized a little bit. Very nice. To all Patreon supporters and website supporters, there is a poll right now for this model on what pose to do. So if you haven't already check that out and vote. The voting ends tomorrow at like midnight, I think. So I will not be posing this today because I'm going to wait for the response. And it's really evenly tied, so I'm extra going to wait. Sometimes, if I can tell what the poll results are going to be, I'll start on it early, but this one I really don't know what it's going to be. Alright. So I'm just going to subdivide this again. Making that weird face because I'm just really curious on how exactly I'm going to make this. I'm going to go ahead and mask the bottom of this and just pull this straight down into the moose back. That way there's no hole or gap right here. Realistically, there would be, but again, since it's me 3D printed, the hole doesn't need to be there, the gap right there, and just going to cause printing problems. So I'm just going to remove it. Just refining my mask right there. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to. There we go. Much better. I still want there to be like an edge though. Otherwise it's gonna look weird. There we go. That's not too bad. There we go. So there's a lot of overlap there, which obviously isn't like realistic. That's okay. I'm gonna do the same thing with these and just widen them up a little bit. They don't want to widen, so I'm just gonna inflate them instead. There we go. So now I have a better base shape here that I can use and not worry about when 3D printing it. Yeah, subdivide these again, and then just kind of like just playing with the shapes here. I mean, I imagine this to be somewhat kind of like the blanket that goes under the saddle, but I'm probably going to put like little pegs on top right here too, where someone could be standing. Because I'm designing this so that you could fit a mini with a 25mm base to sit right here. So pretty much the same concept as my war elephant. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit wider and a little bit flatter. I don't mind if the mini is tilted back just a tiny bit. With this, I might just put a surface modifier on it actually, and make it some sort of like woven fabric or something. So we'll see. Terry's here. Hello. As you can tell, I'm like super indecisive. How exactly I'm gonna do this saddle still? Because I don't want it to be too similar to the war elephant. Not because I don't think it'd look good, but because, I don't know. I try not to repeat my designs too much. It's easy to make something the same way every single time. I mean, I don't need to worry about that too much because I'm working on my aquatic Kickstarter, and there's a bunch of different mounts I'll be doing, all with saddles, so obviously those saddles are going to look much different than they did for my my war elephant. I'm actually really excited about that. I can like cover them in shells and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be super fun. So right now, I'm just kind of making a wooden post that'll be sticking out of this top part of the saddle. I'm just going to trinodynamic and just taking off big chunks. I could also do this with a surface modifier, but that tends to crash ZBrush, and it's just too early in the live stream for this to be crashing, so I'm just going to do it manually. Gonna go in here with a deformer and taper this a little bit. Make this do the work for me. There we go. Hey, Mockery's here too. Hello. Alright, going to my favorite alpha that I definitely overuse, but it's fine. There we go. Starting to look a bit like wood. Let's make this a darker color and then remove solo. Because I made this saddle red, it's looking like a reindeer to me, guys. I need to change these colors. I just keep thinking it looks like a reindeer. I know if I think that too much, I will go through and I will ruin the anatomy that I made for this moose. What's a good color scheme for a saddle? I don't know. Okay, that looks much better. These cooler colors, I think this is working better. It looks less like a runaway, beefy reindeer. I know, like, the antlers in the head look like a moose. I don't know. I just feel like it looks like a reindeer. It's a concern. Alright. Because little square moose butt is so funny. Alright, so I'm just gonna put these little spikes in here. Go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to rotate it, that way it's not too obvious that it's the exact same peg. And I should be able to mirror this about the axis, and it should know what I want. There we go. I think I'm going to use the same rope to do kind of like, I don't know, to keep the mini in there. We'll see. I'm glad you guys are checking in with each other on the chat. I hope everything's going good. Sarah says leathery brown. You know what? That would have been a better idea than what I did, wouldn't it? Let's make this top piece more of a leather color. Oh, that looks way better. Thanks, Sarah. Now I feel like your suggestion was like super obvious, but I wasn't thinking of it, so thanks. All right, let's get some like a brown tinge to these. I am moving the wrong slider. There we go. I just like putting gradients and everything. There's not really a huge rhyme or reason for why I'm doing that right now. Make the hooves a little bit darker too. In reality, they're usually a little bit brighter, but again, I just like gradients. There we go. All right, and I'm gonna load in this rope brush that I have. I have this huge folder full of brushes at this point. I opened it yesterday, but I forgot where it is. Oh, you know what? I think that's the one I have shared with patrons. That's why. You really should consolidate all my brushes at the same place, but some of them are free and some of them aren't. I didn't make like any of these. They're all hosted from Bad King. Here we go. All right. So that did not do what I was like intending for, but it honestly worked out kind of well. Nah, I'm not gonna be lazy. I'm gonna do this correctly. All right, I know if I change my stroke from like once Z to continuous Z or some nonsense like that, it works better. This should work. Haha, it did. So essentially what it's doing is it's not trying to reference the curve brush at every different point on the model. It just says the initial one you picked. That's why I didn't get sucked back there. All right. Is this part going to be annoying to support? It sure will, but I want to look good more than anything. I'm going to see if I can like wrap it around and if the curve brush won't lose its mind. I'm hoping it won't. We'll see. If you use curved brushes in ZBrush before, you know that they work sometimes. Honestly, they do a pretty good job. They're just a little finicky. Let's see. Terry says, figured out how to use Roll20 for a session yesterday. So much better than we were doing before. Yeah, we used Roll20 last time too. Sarah says, you're welcome. I've seen plenty of horse saddles, so I know what they look like. Same. I am super into horseback riding. That's actually kind of like my biggest dream, what I'm working for. So Bruno's here. Hello, the rope seems so good. And yeah, I think the reason why I wasn't going on like this leather brown, that's why it has kind of like this like Western saddle look to it, because I can't help myself. I ride Western. But yeah, I don't want it to be too saddle-like and more like a platform. I think that's why I wasn't just going like leather brown. That's awesome that you're also into horses. I don't know if a lot of people know that about me, but that's like end goal, dream for me. That's what I want ultimately. So we'll see. Terry says, they're too young to really know what's going on. You know, there's a virus outside, and that's why I'm staying home in our backyard. It's harder than grandparents. I think they've only seen the baby through the window. Yeah, that's tough. That's super tough. But hey, it's going to blow over sooner than later, I think. I think we're through the majority of it. I don't know. All I know is that it will end eventually, and then things will go back to normal. Like, what is this? Why did that just happen? No ZBrush. It was doing so good. Connect. Right there. Haha. It looks really weird from all the other angles, but that's fine. Alright, let's stop with the spinning. Alright, so this like little tie thing I was trying for is obviously not going to work. So I'm going to stop trying to make it work, and we're going to do this instead. Alright, we're going to mirror and weld, and then I'm going to take these segments and move them inward And then I'll just figure out some sort of like something, rope thing. Goodness, why would it do that? No, ZBrush. I'm trying to think of like the fastest and easiest way. Because honestly, the way that it is, it looks fine, but I want it to make a little bit more sense. Like it's tied on there instead of like magically floating. You know, I could put like nails on the edge of each one of these ropes and then it'd make sense. I wonder if it'd look cool if I did like layers. Like I like that, but then you might have to support. Nah, you wouldn't have to if I tilt it like that. That's kind of cool. I like that. We're gonna do that. And then I'll just make some big like pins or nail heads that stick out on the ends of these. Which in reality would make the rope fray a ton and be a terrible idea, but I'm not going for that realistic. I'm just going for a good aesthetic. Alright, so I'm actually going to split one of these off and see if I can just, you know what? No, I'm not going to cheat. I was going to just like mirror one of these to the front of the saddle right here because there should be some ropes in the front of this too. Obviously, I'll leave it empty in the back. That way I could actually get in without the hose step over or anything. Alright, I can make that kind of touch the front of the saddle platform I have going on here. I'll keep the same theme of doing 2 at a time. And yeah, these front ones won't need any supports. I don't mind, obviously, having supports my models, but if I can avoid them, I do. Alright, this rope thing is looking really cool, actually. Sweet. Xander's here, hello. So you're making a Canada mount today? I sure am. I'm making a war moose. So the story behind this is I have a Discord server for my patrons, and I didn't have any roles established or really anything because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't really care. But someone in my Discord, Mirthful Moose being the username, super cool guy, and he was like, hey, your Discord could be better. Do you want me to help you? And I actually said yes, I took help. And yeah, I did a bunch of really dumb mistakes. Like, I'm a pretty tech savvy person, but I think I'm just really tired and I was doing a bunch of dumb stuff. And he was super patient with me and all like my dumb mistakes. So at the end of it, I was like, what do you want? I'm going to make you a model. And of course, Mirthful Moose asked for a moose. So here we are, making a moose. Luckily, it was cooler than just a moose. Now, he described it like a living siege weapon, which is super freaking cool. He also described it as a bit more monstrous. I went pretty literal on the moose side. I mean, this is actually pretty, like, chunky for a moose. The legs are a lot thicker than they would normally be for a moose. But yeah, I didn't go too crazy with the head or anything. It just looks like a moose. Actually gonna make the legs a little bit thicker. But not too much, because this is still gonna be pretty thin. I'm gonna use back face mask and then move brush to fix that weird concave shape I have going on there. That'll make it a little bit easier for when I pose. Yeah, I was gonna add like studs right here, but then I realized it's such a small detail, it Really doesn't matter. And I think it comes across pretty clear. Especially after I added the front pieces. Gonna mask lasso. Pull these up so they touch. Not sure what happened right there. Alright. Kind of pull these in the center here. If I use an inflate brush, it'll kind of look like a knot. Sweet. It looks intentional. That's what I'm going for. I did not expect this to look as good as it did. I've been totally avoiding the saddle. That's why everything else is pretty much done, because I'm like, I don't know. This is going to be a weirdly gigantic moose because I'm going to make sure that a mini can fit right here. I guess not too really gigantic. I mean, moose are huge. I always forget how big moose are. Moose and wolves. Wolves are also way bigger than I think they are too. I'm always surprised. Alright, I could do a cool surface modifier on this, or I could just put stitches on it, which is like what I do for everything I don't know how to detail with fabric or leather. Go ahead and save this. Get some more points on this, and I am going to try a surface modifier first, because I do want to try something different. There's some cool, like, basic ones, like, this kind of like, thatching. There is a word for that. Woven. Texture would look cool. Here's a better one. Yeah, let's try this one. Obviously, that is not fitting super well right now, so I'm going to adjust the noise scale. It's kind of giving me these weird sections on it. Like this circle here. Let's see if I can move this around so it doesn't look like that. If I go through with a trim dynamic brush and flatten that segment out, it should fix it. But if I don't have to do that right now, I'm not going to. Let's see. I'm actually just not really impressed with this one. It doesn't look woven like at all, like the picture shows. I know there's one that works. I've used it before. I use it for the top of my half-orc barbarian. It should be this one. Yeah, it's doing kind of the same thing. I mean, just go figure. They're very similar textures. I can definitely work with this until it works, but I don't want to. There's an easier way to do it. Goodness. This especially doesn't look good without being edited. Let's go ahead and remove all the noise and then mess with the plugin scale. This looks really cool, but not for what I'm doing. Yep, we're gonna detail it by hand. Never mind. Alright, let's go to my very trusty stitch brush. I use just a basic stitch for this. Let me go ahead and dyno mesh this again at a higher resolution, because currently the stitches are looking really pixelated, and I don't like that. I might as well use my better stitch brush. I don't even know why I have this other stitch brush. I literally never use it, because it doesn't look as cool as this one does. This looks so much better. Okay. Alright, looks like it's gonna act a little dumb. I don't worry about detailing this too much because I'm just going to put axes on this anyway, pinned to the side here. Let's see, let's make this go down a little bit longer. There we go. That should paint really well too. There we go. Gets a nice effect. Maybe I'll do some vertical stripes as well. Very nice. It's a small detail, but I like it. While I'm at it, I really might as well detail this platform too. I think it's wood. Sure looks like it at this point. So I will just lean into that and make this look more like wood. This I am going to use a surface modifier for because it's kind of a bigger piece and I just don't want to do it by hand. Ooh, it hasn't crashed yet. It really doesn't like using the noise plugin. I don't know why. So whenever it works, I'm always very excited. Alright, let's remove the noise and I can kind of change the scale. It doesn't look like anything now, but this will look kind of like chipped wood if I do it right. And that looks cool. It looks like the back of a turtle shell. I should note that for later. Alright, let's see if this does an okay job or not. Wow, it actually didn't ruin it. Usually when I apply it to the mesh, it gets OBS kind of like connecting, disconnecting. What are you doing? Please behave. I'm just squinting until I see that OBS is having problems right now. My internet's been really, really weird recently. Alright, I think it is back. Yeah, I think it's back. Whatever. Alright. Terry says, was it easier than getting the form right for the elephant? I think I saw a video from where you said the elephant was difficult to get right. Yeah, the elephant was a nightmare. This actually used a base mesh. I linked that in the Discord for 3D modeling. So you'll see that. Super helpful. I still did a lot of my own work with it, but it was fine. Sarah says, would a moose count as a large or huge creature? A horse is large, but a moose is much bigger than a horse. Yeah, usually it's by base size. I can't remember this. This is what I do for a living. Anyway, I think so. It's gonna be gigantic. And so news here. Borwin, hello. Alright, let's go back to Lightbox, and there is this pattern right here I really like using for wood when I get it oriented right. I just think it's really pretty. I mean, that'd kind of cool if I made this like it was like the top of a tree stump, but it's probably not what I'm gonna do. Gonna lower the strength a little bit, and then I'll just mess with the angle and see what I can get. At this point, I'm not really sure what this is. It doesn't look just like wood, but it just looks cool, so I'm going with it. I'm gonna go through with the scratches that I have. It kind of reads as an unclear texture of what exactly it is, but I don't care because it looks cool. Boren says, in 3.5, moose was a large creature. That makes sense. I'm gonna paint the tips of the horns a little bit darker just because I like my gradients. If anyone is new here, I do not, the color doesn't matter at all. I design for 3D printing. I just paint it for me because it's fun. So now I'm just going through and just adding a little bit of variation in the fur colors. Again, totally doesn't matter for my end goal here. I'm just doing this for me. This moose looks pretty awesome. Alright, I made a character recently where I made a double-headed axe. I'm just going to go into that and take the axe head because I don't want to do it again because I already made it. Where is it? Wow, these folders are really not organized the way they're supposed to be. There it is. I was panicked for a second there. I'm like, where is this model? Because I do not want to redo it. I did not enjoy making this model, but that is okay. You win some, you lose some. Alright, I'm gonna use this. Obviously gonna like change the proportions and stuff so it actually works for a hand axe. It is a little big right now to be a hand axe. Go ahead and shrink this. That's looking better. And then I'll make the interconnections here a little bit wider as well. There we go. Looks good enough to me. I'm gonna Dynamesh this at a decently low resolution, which is good. There we go. Really simple, quick paint on this. Go ahead and export this with a super clear name, and I lose stuff all the time. And back to my war moose. War moose, that phrase is cracking me up. Alright. So go subtool here and I will append a sphere just as a placeholder for appending this little axe I made. Didn't remember the poly paint, but that's okay. I can just do that again really quickly. It actually might have remembered the poly paint. I just changed. This has like a different filter on it for live streams. That way you guys can see more clearly. Because of the matte cap material I have, it's really tricky to get grays. I could just change the material, but eh. These colors are not working the way I want them to right now. There we go. I was just going for kind of like a black, so I had to go on the bluer side. Actually going to change that just because it's going to blend in with that saddle color way too much, so never mind. Going back to where I was. I just pin these to the side because I think it looks cool. There we go. Let's see if I can put another one right here if it'd look good. Not really. My plan was to have two of them, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit two. I should be able to. There we go. Just gotta play with it a little bit. So you can go through here and then append some little ties that will be holding these on. Nothing too fancy. That looks good. I'm always surprised how much like little details like this really improve the entire model. Looks good. Gonna merge all this down and then mirror and weld. And then like magic, these should show up on the other side. And they do. Woohoo. Alright, this is pretty much done, isn't it? That's fast. Let's see. Borwin says you should design some sitting miniatures. Wink, wink. Oh, are you the guy from Facebook that tagged me or thought I made a model that I didn't make? This sounds so obscure to everyone else. Anyway, it was like a sitting bard model and he thought it was one of mine, but it wasn't. If that's you, that's cool. Hello. And then Terry is plugging my stuff because he's awesome. Borwin says, do we know what music we're listening to right now? Would like to use ambient music in my campaign if possible. This is from Epidemic Sound. Let me... So you'd have to pay... You don't have to pay for it. I don't know. They have different packages. It's called Highland Hymn by Bonnie Grace. So, I hope that was helpful. He says, yep, that is me. You know, it's funny, like, obviously, it seems obvious that it'd be you, like, who else? But I've had some pretty surprising coincidences where I'm like, oh, I know who you are. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, right, sorry. This is looking so sick. I love this. I didn't think I was going to. When he requested it, I was kind of like, you want a war moose? Alright, man. Like, whatever. You could have anything you want, and he picked a moose. And honestly, this is like one of my new favorite models. It just has a lot of personality. God, this is sick. I'm just totally geeking over this moose. Yeah, I'm sorry that OBS keeps connecting and disconnecting. It's being really dumb. I actually might make this a very, very sad, short, only 40-minute live stream just because my internet's being really weird. I think I got a notice from Xfinity saying they're having like maintenance problems right now. And the model's pretty much done, so this is kind of a good ending point. For anyone that's new, because I know at least Borwin's new, I apologize. Usually my live streams are like 3 hours, but this is just not happening this time. So let me get a really fancy render for you guys, and we will actually call this an end, which is just so sad. This is only an hour-long live stream, which is the shortest I've ever done other than it being a classroom lesson. Here we go. Bam, a render. Terry says, thanks for the stream, Mia. You're welcome. Again, super sad, short stream, but I got a lot done. Look at this sexy moose. He looks great. Anyway, guys, that's actually going to be it for today. Oh, I see OBS again, disconnect again. Anyway, it was great talking to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow for sure if I learn to 3D model people, because it'll be class in 2 days. What day is it? Say Friday or Saturday? It's Friday. Whatever, don't listen to me. Have a fantastic evening. Stay safe and stay healthy. I'll see you guys later. Bye.